I've always been a fan of Hulk, both the character and the criminally underrated 2003 cinematic outing directed by Ang Lee. That film was as brilliant as it was revolutionary, and I will fight you on that. If you haven't watched Hulk recently, go back. Trust me, check it out and see how brilliantly it holds up in today's landscape of superhero slop. My point is that I have always loved the Hulk. And as much as I love the Ang Lee picture, the moment that really hits me good was in the first Avengers film when Bruce Banner shows up on his shitty little motorcycle and right before he finally hulks out, he turns to Steve Rogers and says, "That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry." That was the quote, but here's my own secret, Cap. I have never, ever felt so goddamn fucking represented in cinema. My name is Krumbine, and this is Emergency Creative, a place where I explore the intersection of creative expression, creative process, and mental health. New videos drop somewhere in the ballpark of Sunday. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. I was checking out a recent video from one of my favorite commenters, Minki Films, and I was so fucking inspired by their style, this almost nostalgic, old school YouTube aesthetic. Well, I had to follow their footsteps and pull my own legacy YouTube move. That's right, video responses. Light a candle, pour one out, fucking shame the things we have lost. Anyway, the Minki Films video was essentially about how they were recommitting themselves to just be themselves. Underneath all of that was a simmering fucking rage about the state of the internet, the struggle to find community, the pain of expressing a creative truth to an existential void, or worse, soulless fucking half-wit comment trolls. And let me tell you, just like Bruce Banner on his shitty little motorcycle, I fucking felt that in my bones. Because I've been there. I have lived my entire life with that simmering rage. And it is fucking exhausting. Emotionally, creatively, whatever. I've got a few years on Minki Films, and I'd love to be able to say, hey, it gets better. But I can't. It gets easier, I guess. Sure, we learn how to cope with the anger in less disruptive ways. But better? Meh? You know, maybe our anger is actually trauma related, and that would make sense, right? Because trauma doesn't get better, it just gets easier to live with. For me, I don't ever remember not being angry, and it wasn't until my dog, Jerry, came home to me in late 2023 that I think I really, truly discovered what it meant to be genuinely happy. I think my anger stems from this sense of a fundamental inability for my soul to find alignment and balance with the modern world and modern society. I think those words make sense. I don't know. Maybe you can relate. I grew up in a family that was very isolated and alone. Looking back, I'm very much saddened by the lack of emotional support from friends or family. This total failure of core relationships with people of like-minded outlooks, values, and beliefs. A fundamental lack of alignment. And if ignorance is bliss, then awareness is absolute fucking rage. Maybe you can relate. Minki Films loves My Little Pony. I was a Powerpuff Girls fella myself, but two of my all-time favorite shows, Star Trek and The West Wing, both deal with idealized fantasy worlds where everyone is an expert in their field and everyone works together in an idealized society to overcome challenges, utilizing and depending on that aforementioned expertise. Expectations shaped by entertainment and media versus reality. Maybe you can relate. All right, so if the anger is everywhere and it doesn't go away, what the fuck are we supposed to do about it? I mean, first and foremost, we gotta recognize what and why it is. I think that is the first step to the Bruce Banner approach. And I haven't even mentioned politics, the TikTokification of the internet, the pandemic, rage bait everything, the isolation. Like Banner, we are always angry. How can we not be? The Bruce Banner approach, and yes, I know it is a fictional comic book character, but we gotta take the things we need from wherever we can find them. The Bruce Banner approach shows us that we can acknowledge the anger without letting it control us. And I think that is kind of the main point here. Because just like we learned from Yoda, fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate, hate leads to suffering. And if our goal is creative expression, yes, there is a place for anger, but anger left unchecked fucking hulks out and takes control over everything. Try making your art when you can't even control your own fucking brain. Maybe you can relate. At the end of the day, I treat my rage not unlike my depression. It comes and it goes. I know the peaks and valleys, so I know how to brace for impact. I give myself grace. I don't criticize myself for getting angry in the first place. Usually, frankly, I'm too busy getting angry at other people for not seeing the same infuriating fucking shit that I do. But it passes. And I also know that my emotional state is not this binary equation. Like, if I'm not angry, I'm happy? It doesn't work like that. And for the most part, instead of, well, happy, I usually aim for, not miserable. It's one thing to give yourself permission to be angry, acknowledging that it is this temporary storm, but it's something else to respect the fact that we are getting angry for a reason. And those reasons are real and valid. Coworkers not pulling their weight. A boss that doesn't support you. Getting unfairly targeted by law enforcement. Politics, religion, social media, the internet at fucking large. Maybe you can relate. Respecting the source of our anger turns that rage into a valuable resource. It allows us to hulk out at the right moment, channeling that rage into something meaningful, something productive, something creative. And just think of all of those people, those fucking surface dwellers with their routine pleasantries and all their mindless scrolling, all those people that don't ever get really, really angry. What the fuck do they have to channel into their art? That's all for this one. Like and subscribe if you like liking and subscribing. Check out Minki Films' channel in the description. And if you want to see where I channeled a shit ton of my rage, be sure to watch this video, which is an excerpt from my novel, Abraham Owens is Punched, Drunk, and All Out of Fucks. I wrote it around 2016, 2017, when the world seemed to have forgotten that Nazis were the bad guys. As recently as about, I don't know, maybe a year ago, I thought maybe the story wouldn't be applicable anymore. Ha